The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you in this webinar about the Smart Cities Call for Proposal, our third joint funded call between TUBITAK and Qatar National Research Fund. My name is Sadim Jawhar. I'm a Joint Funding Program Manager at Qatar National Research Fund, and I'm very pleased to be giving this presentation with Dr. Munir Taj, ICT Senior Program Manager from QNRF, and Dr. Nihad Abu Nasser, Program Coordinator from TUBITAK. Please let me know if you have difficulties in seeing the slides or hearing me. Just send it as a question or as a comment so I can know if there's any problem. Today we'll be presenting an overview and about the call and the research priority areas. We'll be speaking about the scope and the eligibility, about the budget, then the application and generally the pre-award stage, the timeline, also the available resources to facilitate networking. At the end, we'll be happy to answer your questions. So if you have any question, you can type it in the question bar. You can see it in the app, or you can raise your hand and I'll open the mic for you to ask your question. I'll be now giving the mic to Dr. Munir to tell us more about the background and the research priority areas of this call. Dr. Munir, the mic is with you. Hello? Hello, Dr. Munir, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, I hear you. Hello, how are you? This is Dr. Munir from QNRF. I would like to welcome you to this webinar and introducing the Smart Cities Call. I'm going to give you an overview of the priority areas of this call, and then it will be followed up by my colleagues on eligibility and application, and etc. This overview and research priority areas. So we can go to the next slide. Do you hear me?
Yes, we're with you, Doctor.
I would like to go to the next slide. Yeah, objectives. So the objective of this call actually is to enhance and intensify the cooperation between Turkish and Qatari partners in science and industry by means of industry and academia cooperation. So this call actually is focusing on smart cities. It is the third call. We initially launched the call 3 years ago by focusing on cybersecurity. The second call was on smart manufacturing, and this call actually is focusing on smart cities. So actually, to participate in this call, we require to have industrial and academic partners. It's called industry academia cooperation 2+2. And so from Turkey, we need to have at least one Turkish institution or organization, research institution, university, training and research hospitals, in addition to one commercial company. Same thing for Qatar. We need to have at least one academic partner or research institution, in addition to a commercial company or research end user. So that's why it's called 2+2. Next slide. So what is a smart city? We hear a lot about smart cities. Smart city actually is an environment where traditional networks and services are made more flexible, more effective and sustainable with the use of innovative technologies such as information, digital and telecommunication technologies to improve the city's operations for the benefit of its citizens. So it is a city using advanced technologies to enhance quality of life, enhance communication, get connected, and have easy access to different services in the city. Next slide. So smart cities actually, there are some initiatives in Qatar and Turkey. In Qatar, we have two large projects. One is called Lusail, and the other one called Musharraf. Lusail Smart City actually is a city with smart applications in parking, in in buildings and things like that, smart applications in the city. It's a new city. And Musharraf also is another new city in Qatar, where you have a city that is really connected. So using Internet of Things, you have connected city to enhance and optimize energy and have easy access to services. We have also, in addition to that, a national program called TESMO. It's actually supported by the Ministry of Transport and Communications, and it's a strategy that goes from 2017 to 2022. It's actually to make the city and the country smart, focusing on different areas like sports, transportation, logistics, healthcare, and environment. And under each of these areas, there are use cases that are defined by the ministry, and it's accessible through their website, tesmo.gov.qa. In Turkey also, we have a number of initiatives in Istanbul, in Ankara, in Konya, Antalya, and etc. Kayseri, Bursa, Gaziantep, etc. So we have a number of initiatives here in Turkey for smart cities. For instance, smart mobility. We have Internet of Things projects. We have projects in Istanbul in collaboration with the European Commission, as you know, and we have projects on intelligent management of energy using SCADA, and also there is a national strategy on smart cities which is a strategy from 2019 to 2022. So we have already some background, and we can have also the potential partners in both countries working in this area. Next slide. So as topics for this call, smart city is wide. It covers large areas in the city. So we are focusing on smart transportation. Smart transportation actually uses ICT. ICT supported and integrated transportation system that covers more than one means of transportation, such as tram, bus, train, subway, car, sea and air transports, bicycle and pedestrian, to create a sustainable, secure and interconnected transportation system. Here, the actual challenge to get how all these services and means of transportation gets connected to facilitate the mobility of the citizens. The second topic under priority theme under this call is smart logistics and supply chain. Here, effective logistic management and decision making delivered through consolidated digital channels. So how to have really, for instance, Internet of Things and smart sensors that can track, for instance, some goods and give you the status and then the location and how this how the load and inventories are managed. Next slide. The third area of focus is the smart healthcare. Smart healthcare is very useful and important. It is integrated and collaborative system for provisioning and access to care outside clinics and hospitals through remote care, body sensor networks, remote sensors, remote diagnostics, and things like that. So here we have looking for solutions for such type of challenges that citizens would face. The fourth one is smart environment. So environment is very important, and preserving the environment is quite crucial. And through this topic, we are looking for a project to implement advanced ICT technologies, smart management of waste, air, water, soil, climate change, and cities' natural assets to ensure the protection of the environment and the sustainability of nature. So all the technologies around protecting the nature, protecting the environment are welcome here in this under this topic. Next slide. So we have also other areas for like smart sports. Smart sports is the provision of personalized, homogeneous and memorable sports for fun journey, connected fans through intelligent and immersive live game experience and smart crowd event and facilities management. Here, when we have smart sports we have a crowd, and managing the crowd, tracking them, guiding them, facilitating access to the facilities are quite important. And also having them connected. In a match, for instance, you have different people there that would like to look for the at specific events from different cameras, from different perspectives. You can immerse yourself in this game and look at the game from different angles, and also share the experience with your colleagues and fans who are outside the stadium. Smart energy is the sixth topic under this call. It covers highly efficient and increasingly renewable city energy systems, providing cost and energy saving, strategic planning for integrated and flexible energy distribution system, smart energy security, advanced SCADA, and energy efficiency are covered under this topic. And then last, smart security. Smart security.
Sorry.
Smart security actually uses advanced technologies to protect against disasters and threats, to protect citizens and ensure crisis. Here we are looking for preventive and predictive security with Internet of Things that can really capture the information, give you real-time information that you can analyze on real time and take right action and decisions to really protect the citizens of against any threats and crisis. Next slide. So to support all these topics, of course we need to have advanced and enabling technologies. Here the technology that supports these areas includes advanced sensors and Internet of Things. Of course, next generation networks, 5G and beyond, big data and big data analytics, machine learning, robotics and artificial intelligence, infinite computing, cloud computing, fog computing, edge computing, and blockchain technologies. So these are the technologies which will be needed to support some or all of these suggested topics on the previous slide. And if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer the questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Munir. We'll continue now and speak about the scope and eligibility of the call. So the duration of the proposal can be up to 3 years, and as you can see, each team is composed of actually Qatar-based team and Turkey-based team. Each funding institution will be funding its local team. And in the coming slide, I'll be speaking about the QNRF funded parts, teams, and my colleague Nihad will be speaking about the TUBITAK funded teams. So for the QNRF funded teams, or the Qatar-based teams, they are eligible to get up to 250,000 per project per year for up to 3 years. And 100% of the budget and the effort must be spent inside Qatar. I'll open the mic now for Nihad to tell us about the TUBITAK funded projects.
Thank you, Sadim. Hello all and welcome to our webinar. Let me first of all introduce myself. My name is Nihad Abu Nasser. I'm a program coordinator in TUBITAK. And let me also introduce my colleague, Mr. Tayyip Kösolo. He is a scientific program expert. He will be happy to answer your questions. So about the duration of proposals, the same will be in Turkey. Projects can be up to 3 years, and those projects can receive up to 4 million Turkish liras per proposal. And if we include the overhead and the project incentive premium, it can be up to 5 million Turkish liras. At the same time, the partners from academia cannot get more than 40% of the requested budget of each proposal. Just the next slide, Sadim.
Thank you, Nihad. Okay, I'll take over and then we'll come back to you later. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll speak now about the eligibility of the proposal in general. Since we're speaking about academia-industry cooperation project 2+2 model, each project must include at least one Qatari research institution or university and at least one Turkish research institution, university, training, and research hospital. In addition to that, each proposal must include at least one Qatari commercial company or research end user and at least one Turkish commercial company, Turkish public institution or organization, which includes provincial and district municipalities. So here's in participation, we mean a submitting and collaborative institution, not just co-funders or consultant or so on. So in general, you will have at least 4 institutions, 2 of them academia and research from Qatar and Turkey, and 2 of them are end users from Qatar and Turkey. The number can be more for sure. You can have 2 academia from Qatar or 3 from Turkey or 2 end users from here or there. That's fine, but we're speaking about the minimum requirement. The other eligibility criteria is that the proposal must be aligned to one or more of the specific research priority areas that were explained by Dr. Munir. Each project must include a lead principal investigator from each country. So we'll have 2 lead principal investigators, one from Qatar and one from Turkey. And each project also will have a project coordinator who is selected among these 2 lead principal investigator and is responsible to coordinate the application form, and later on, if the proposal is awarded, is responsible for coordinating the progress reports. I'll speak now about the eligibility of the Qatar-based team. So institutions that are inside Qatar and have approved research office are eligible to act as submitting institutions. The collaborative institution also must be inside Qatar. The lead principal investigators must have a research-oriented doctorate or any of the approved terminal degrees. We have a list of the approved terminal degrees that are available on QNRF.org. In addition, he or she needs to have at least 5 peer-reviewed publications uploaded to his or her profile. For those lead principal investigators from other research and user entities and do not have a terminal degree, they can request a waiver through the application system, but they need to have a track record showing that they have experience in managing technology development projects or research projects, and in addition to that, having minimum of 5 publications, peer-reviewed publication, technical reports, or patents. Regarding the other team members, the project will include a principal investigator who can be from the same submitting institution or other collaborative institution inside Qatar. For the principal investigator, he must hold a university postgraduate degree and should have a research experience that's relevant to the tasks that are assigned to him or her in the project. Other team members can include research assistants or research associate, graduate students, postdoc, undergrads, etc. And if there is a need to use a consultant, they can be added. However, their role should be justified. And please note that the consultant role is not like the principal investigator role, so they not should be involved in developing the idea of the project or in executing the project, but rather there are people with expertise who can give an advice on how to address a problem or run a certain experiment or so on. That's why they don't have intellectual property rights. I leave the mic now to Nihat to tell us about the Turkey-based team.
Thank you, Salim. The Turkish team will receive the funding according with 1071 program. All the researchers are available or familiar with it, and they can apply through RB accounts. They should have this account. If anybody does not have RB's account, he can or she write to us. The next slide, Sadim. Yeah, the principal investigator from Turkey can be a university staff holding PhD degree, proficiency in arts, specialty in medicine, but this role are for employees who are training and in research hospital. If he or she is employed at public or private sector, they at least should hold a bachelor degree. Regarding the LPIs, the projects are expected to be composed of sub-projects, and each sub-project is like PI, principal investigator, and those LPIs are selected through those PIs, through a consortium agreement. The LPI and the PI must be employed inside the applying institution. Otherwise, if they have a foreign national inside the project, he should be residing in Turkey and working or employed and at an institution inside Turkey.
Do you want to add anything, Nihad?
If we get questions, we can. Okay. Yeah, if we get questions, we can give more clarifications for those issues.
Thank you, Nihad. Okay, regarding the number of roles, so since due to the importance of these research areas and also to give more opportunities for the researchers, there is no limit of the number of the participation from the Qatar-based or Turkey-based researchers, as long as it goes with, it does not contradict their internal institution policies and rules. I'll be speaking now about the budget, and for the Qatar-based deemed the QNRF budget categories is pretty similar to our other joint funding calls. It covers the personnel, it covers equipment and consumables and services. So equipments are any item that has the cost of more than $5,000. Consumables and services are those items and requirements that are less than $5,000. It covered travel, and this is maximum 10% of the annual direct budget. The miscellaneous budget is also covered, and by miscellaneous we mean the requirements that are needed to run the project, but not directly. For example, like the publication, like the conference fees, there is some examples that you will find in our budget documents that are available under the NPRP Download Center. And also there is a document shows the unallowed items that they should not be included under the miscellaneous budget. So the miscellaneous is up to 5% of the annual direct budget. Besides, the budget also covers the indirect costs, and the difference here to the other programs that it's 10% of the annual direct budget. As I said earlier, 100% of the budget and the effort must be spent inside Qatar. Besides, I want to highlight a very important role for QNRF is that the private institutions, either as submitting or collaborative institution, are not eligible to request for personnel or indirect costs. Another important budget-related aspect is the co-funding. So in QNRF, we actually encourage Q-funding because it enhances the translation of the research outcome and transferring this outcome from the research entities to the end users, and it increases the network between these two entities, which fits pretty well with the objectives of our current call. That's why research end users are eligible to act as co-funders. By research end users, we mean any public, private, NGOs, other entities that do not have RDI as their main objective. So any entities that's not academia or research institution. The co-funding that's allowed is two types, either cash or in-kind or both of them. And in case there is a co-funding provided for the project, the lead PI needs to provide a commitment letter that shows the commitment of the co-funder if the proposal gets awarded. I'll open the mic now for Nihad to tell us about the Turkey-based team.
Thank you, Sadim. The Turkish team can receive the budget for personal expenses, scholarship student expenses, consumables, travel, service procurement, tools and equipment, and indirect costs. But here, the most important issue is that having a balanced distribution between those items. And the total budget, when you propose the project, should not exceed 4 million Turkish liras. And after TUBITAK add the PIP and the overhead, it cannot exceed the 5 million Turkish liras. Those are the most important aspects regarding the budget for the Turkish team. Yeah, if we can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Nihat. I'll be speaking now about the pre-award stage and the application procedure. So as we said, each project needs to have a project coordinator is one of them from the 2 lead PIs. He's the one who is responsible of getting this application form together, making sure it's consistent, and making sure that the progress reports are consistent. Each lead PI, so the Turkey-based lead PI needs to go and submit this application, the jointly developed application, through the TUBITAK platform. And the Qatar-based lead PI needs to register and submits this application through QGrants or QNRF platform. So here we have a proposal submission either to TUBITAK or QNRF. And for us in QNRF, we request that the project is vetted by the research office in order to be considered official submission to QNRF. I just take a few minutes to highlight few points related to the QNRF channel and submission. So all the policies and templates that are related to this call are available on qnrf.org. The updated call for proposal and the application plan, application form, the supporting letter, and the commitment letters, you can find them under the QNRF-TUBITAK joint funded call. As I said, there are some standard documents that apply to all our joint calls, as well as the NPRP, like the budget, like the screening, like the terminal degree, you will find under the Donland Center and the NPRP page. And you also can have a look at the policies if you go to funding tab, you go to policies, rules and regulation. For example, you can look at the co-funding policy, travel policy, and so on. I want to emphasize on using the recent updated application form that's available on the page. And again, when you upload the form to QNRF and to TUBITAK, make sure that it's the same form. There are no changes, no differences in the form that's submitting to TUBITAK compared to the one that we have in QNRF. Any differences might lead to the disqualification of the proposal. We have a detailed step-by-step guide that shows you how to register and submit your proposal through QGrants for the Qatar-based teams. After submitting the proposal to TUBITAK and submitting and vetting to QNRF, this proposal goes through the screening stage. Each proposal is going to be screened by TUBITAK for the Turkish team and by QNRF for the Qatar-based team, and then we'll have like a joint screening to make sure that the proposal passed both screenings. Then a notification is going to be sent to the research teams from both sides to tell them of the screening outcome. Those projects that pass screening will go to the peer review stage, and in the peer review, international expert will evaluate the proposal in terms of scientific and technological excellence, in terms of project management team and infrastructure, in terms of impact of the project and bilateral cooperation, and then they will give a summary of the evaluation of these criteria. The top scoring or the top scientifically meritorious project will go into the programmatic review stage. Here there is a joint panel from experts from both sides, QNRF and TUBITAK, will assess the projects and take into the account the peer reviewers' feedback, but in addition to that, they will assess it in light of the these criteria to have more holistic and overall programmatic and strategic assessment of the project. So the programmatic review criteria will also include scientific and technological excellence, quality of project management team and infrastructure, the quality and importance of local and bilateral collaboration, impact on Qatar and Turkey, and the broader commercial impacts and the TRL level if applicable, as well as the appropriate of funding and co-funding if applicable. After that, they will make a categorization of the proposal according to their competitiveness, and it will go for funding. It will go for funding recommendations that's reached jointly by both QNRF and TUBITAK. Later on, the awards gets announced. This will lead us to talk about the timeline. So as you all know, the submission channel have opened last February, 6th of February. The submission deadline is on 12th of May, 5:30 p.m. for TUBITAK. And then on the next day, 13th of May, the Qatar-based team have to submit to QNRF. This is the deadline. So this includes the vetting and the submission for QNRF on the 13th of May, 2020, noon. In July, you'll be notified of the screening outcome, and later on, the award announcement is expected to take place in October. We know the special model of this call. It requires a lot of collaboration either inside each country or across between Qatar and Turkey. And you may know that we were hoping to hold networking workshop in Turkey, but due to the current coronavirus situation worldwide, it wasn't possible to hold it. So we highly encourage the researchers to join the LinkedIn group that was created earlier. It's called Smart Cities Joint Funding Call. You can search it, or you can find the link in it in the communication that we have been sending. Please join this group. In the group, you'll find a big list of researchers from both countries that are interested in the call, so you can go through their profile, contact them. Or what is also recommended is to post on the group. So if you're looking for a partner, you can just go to the group, write what is your interest, what is your research area, and what kind of partner you're looking, either inside your country or in the other country. I'm posting here some examples, so perhaps those of you that might be interested can contact our colleague researchers who posted in the group. So we have Dr. Dorson Akaslan, who said we are looking for partners for the call from Qatar universities and industries across these areas: energy, smart environment, healthcare, all of the areas basically. And there are more details to his post that you can find on the group. We have another post from Dr. Emre Elmas, who is looking also for, he's from Turkey, and he's looking for partners in smart transportation, smart logistics, and smart environments. Also, Dr. Abdul Latif Baba from Turkey is searching for an academic partner from Qatar to collaborate on a project in the field of smart energy. And he's saying that the idea of project and all the related details to be discussed with the interested candidates. Other examples like Dr. Amr Omar, he's looking for a biomedical engineer in Qatar to collaborate on the project. Dr. Samer Bilhouari, he's looking for collaborators in machine learning and development and application in several areas, and he's also sharing his email. Dr. Cesar Gorin, she's looking for Qatari Research Institution for collaboration, and she's sharing her information. So basically there are more details towards these posts you can find on the LinkedIn, and you can see that you can contact these researchers, you can post your own interests, and people will be contacting you. So I really encourage you to utilize this and use this platform. Other resources that will be helpful and will be active very soon is if you're looking for partners from Qatar, you can also visit our website, qnrf.org. But by the bottom of the website, you can have a look at the approved research offices. you will know the institutions that have approved research offices with QNRF and which can act as submitting institutions. You can also click on Qatar Research Institution and see all the research institutions in Qatar, either that can act either submitting institution or also collaborative institution. And if you click on each link, you'll go to the website and then you'll find information about the relevant research team and so on. Also, another link that will be active very soon is about collaboration opportunities. And here, this is just an example where you'll researchers that are interested to find partners to apply for the call will indicate this in their proposal while they're preparing the proposal. So you'll see the information on the website if there are any interested researchers. You'll find their emails, their research fields and research areas, and you can contact them. Before I finish, I just want to highlight some of the resources that are available for Qatar-based researchers. The first one is the Q grant or our submission system. This is crucial for any submission to QNRF. The second one is the download center. As I said, under the NPRP, you'll find those standard document about the standard rules. Another important portal is the asset management portal. It's a search engine where you can find information about equipments that have been purchased through QNRF grants and that are available for use. So if you want, you can search for the equipment that you want, enter the information, and then you will find where is it located and who is the focal point, so you can coordinate with them to use this equipment. Also, QNRF Research Network. This is a network that you can access through your QNRF profile, and from there you'll can check the profiles and communicate with those researchers that have been funded through QNRF programs, different programs like NPRP, joint program, also capacity building programs. You will have access to those who agreed to share their information. You can check their profile, communicate with them, invite them to participate in your projects. And last but not least, we have our support system through which you can send your inquiries and any questions. With that, I want to finish my presentation. Thank you very much for joining us. For sure, you can use our support system, support.qnrf.org, for anything related to the Qatar-based team and QNRF. For the Turkish team, please use uidb@tubitak.gov.turkey, and we'll be glad to answer your questions now. If you have any question, please type them in or raise your hand, and then I'll open the mic for you. Okay, we have a question here. I'll open the mic. I'll read it and then open the mic to Dr. Munir. So it says, what % of humanities and social science represent from Smart Cities project? Dr. Munir, I'll open the mic for you.
There is no percentage behind per se. So I mean, if social science is part of a global project, then of course that's welcome. We don't have a specific percentage defined for this call, so it's really open, and it really depends on the project. The project can address a specific problem from different perspective, and social science, user behavior, things like that can be part of that.
Thank you, Doctor. There's another question that says, what about smart manufacturing, for especially for small smart manufacturers in Qatar?
Smart manufacturing was the topic of the previous call. If it's something that's really relevant to smart cities and it's justified, then it could be considered. But I think the topics of the call are quite clear, which were mentioned in the call for proposal. In addition to that, we drafted a white paper that describes the different themes and gives you some background on the initiative of smart cities in Qatar and in Turkey. This white paper can be accessible through our website soon.
Yes, perhaps soon. Yeah, it's currently not available. Let me, Dr. Munir, since you're with us on the mic, let me check if there's any relevant questions so far. Okay, now we have questions for Nihad. Thank you, Dr. Munir. Just stay with us. We have so many questions. Nihad, we have questions says, it's what does it mean the academic partner cannot receive more than 40%?
Okay. If we, for example, if we have a project with 1,000 Turkish lira budget, and the Turkish team has one academia partner and one commercial partner, the academia partner cannot receive or cannot ask more than 400 Turkish liras as a budget. He can ask or she, like, 300, 200, 100, 3.5, but cannot exceed 400, which means 40% of the requested budget. And after asking this 40%, and if it's found eligible, they can receive 100% of this requested budget. They can receive the 400 Turkish liras from TUBITAK.
Okay, thank you, Nihad. There's another question to you regarding the Turkish team budget. Overhead costs are added to the project budget automatically, similar to with the EU H2020 projects indirect costs, or they need to be defined specifically, item by item?
Let me answer this question. This is Tayyip from TÜBİTAK ARDEP. When it comes to budget planning, the applicants, Turkish applicants, do not have to consider or do not have to calculate overheads, because the overheads will be calculated here by our financial experts. They only have to, make the planning according to our maximum allowable budgets. Afterwards, during contract signing procedures, our financial experts will be calculating both project incentive premiums and overheads altogether, and made it known on the contract. So they don't have to calculate, they don't have to show anything related to the indirect costs.
Thank you, Tayyip. I have a question here saying, what do you mean by research end user? So I'll explain it again. So research end user is any entity that does not focus, or the research and development is not of its main objective. So it's not an university, it does not include research institution, it covers those who benefit basically from the research. It includes public, private institution, and so on, like hospital, like Sidra, like HMC. These are considered research end users, like commercial companies, and so on. The end users, as I said, are eligible to provide co-funding as well. Another question says, how about PIs from outside Qatar and Turkey? So this call is only for researchers that are based in Qatar and in Turkey. It's not open for institutions outside Qatar and Turkey. For the Qatar-based team, if they need the expertise of consultants and not an institution, just a consultants for advice, they can have consultants from outside Qatar, giving the restrictions that we said on the consultant role. And they need to provide justification for that. We have a question, is any restrictions on the institution of the PIs? Can they be from academia? I believe this question is from Turkey. For sure, we said, I mean, I'll answer in general way. So yes, for sure, the PIs can be from academia, but I believe maybe Nihad or Tayyip can elaborate more. Do you have any kind of restrictions on the institution of the PIs? I believe
No,
academia by default.
No, as you mentioned, yeah, Tayyip,
Yeah,
do you have?
PIs, can come from either academia or research hospitals, public institutions, private companies. All of them are allowed. Yeah.
Okay. We have another question. I believe we answered it a few minutes ago. Is it true that academia from Turkish side can use only 40% of the budget? I believe you've just addressed this question.
Yeah, that's right. At the maximum, they can receive them. Yeah, they cannot exceed 40% of the requested budget of the proposal.
Another question is how many projects will be funded in total? We don't have a fixed number. It depends all on the quality of the project and how qualified they are and good they are to be funded.
Here, Sadim, can I add something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, the TUBITAK is, have a vision of covering 3 projects, but all the time, as we mentioned before, it's up the situation. If we have that, excellent projects, it's a negotiable situation.
Sure. A question here, each lead PI will submit to their country. Yes, so lead PIs from Qatar will be submitting to QNRF, and lead PIs from Turkey will be submitting to TUBITAK, and please make sure to include the same information, not different information, not different application form. Dr. Munir, I think I have a question for you. It's about how must be the TRL in this call? Is there a specific TRL?
Yeah, well, this program actually, industry academia collaboration, is meant to have impact. So we don't expect to have basic research projects. We expect to have high TRL projects with prototyping, the development, deployment, and things like that. That's why we require to have the industrial partner or the research end user to benefit of the outcome of the project. So basically, it's a higher TRL. I cannot specify what, but going from prototype upwards to development, deployment, and things like that.
We have a question, Dr. Munir, also saying, does communication system network security fall under the security theme, or is it out of scope?
It's not about developing communication protocols and communication networks. The proposal is how to make efficient use of communication facilities and bandwidth to get things interconnected easily and securely. Security, if you deal with security from a security perspective, then it is security. But if you're using communication to connect, for instance, to connect sensors efficiently, lightweight protocols, this could be looked at if it is really related to connectivity and making things more performant and highly efficient.
Thank you, Dr. Munir. Also, we have a question saying, is there average consortium size? Dr. Munir, I would say it depends purely on the nature of the project and the requirement of the project, and it's part of the evaluation programmatic review. The team, an overall team, and the budget is going to be part of the programmatic review. Maybe Dr. Munir would like to add something?
No, there is no size. It really depends on you. But I mean, of course, it has to be reasonable. Then the number of partners you can have from Qatar or from Turkey. So there is no limitation to the size. It has to be reasonable within, the budget of the call.
Thank you, Dr. Munir. Let us see. We have a question also saying, when is the next 4 call plans? Are topic determined? Not yet. We still haven't closed the submission for this cycle. what are examples of a good bilateral collaboration? I don't know if Dr. Munir can just address this question.
For a successful collaboration, you need to have complementary expertise. So, for instance, the whole idea behind this call is to have partners who complement each other, so that the project can address different topics from different perspectives and have at the end an integrated outcome. So, the complementarity, expertise, know-how, are really critical for such type of proposals.
Another question, can you repeat about the consultant role? The connection was bad. They can be from outside Qatar. So the consultant, as we said, they can be added. If you need consulted, you need to provide a justification and the application when your online application. Describe their roles, why they're added. They should not be involved in developing the idea or executing the project. They're just give advice on how to perform the project or address certain questions. They can be from outside Qatar, but you need really to provide a good justification, since also the consultant role as part of the team are going to be evaluated. Is it possible to share the presentation and webinar? Yes, we'll be posting this presentation online on QNRF, and maybe TUBITAK. We'll also send it to TUBITAK to be sharing it on their website. Can we put in the proposal the name of PI from outside Qatar or Turkey if they are willing to work on the project with zero cost? As we said, it's only for researchers from inside Qatar and Turkey, so you cannot be including PIs from outside these countries, because also the collaborative institution have to be from inside Qatar and Turkey. Another question is, the project is for 2 years. Does it mean Qatar team can request maximum $500,000 as budget? If it's up to 2 years, you can request up to 250 per year, which is up to 500 in total. But for sure, the budget requested is part of the evaluation. So if the committee sees that this is inflated budget, there is a chance, and it's not logical, the budget might be cut or reduced as needed. How many projects you expect to fund? We've already addressed this question. I own a commercial company and working with Dr. who's working in a commercial company. We have got a project for smart environments. Can we submit with at least 2 members? As I said, you need, so it's an eligibility requirement that the project would have research or academia and research and user from each company. So you are a commercial company, you would require an academia or research entity from your country. I believe you're submitting from the question is from Turkey, and you need also similar structure from Qatar. You need research and user and academia from Qatar. I highly encourage you, if you're looking for a partner, to post your inquiry, and if you're looking for a partner in the LinkedIn group. With the contribution, let me see. We have many questions that we have already addressed. 100% money and effort needs to be inside Qatar. Can you hear me now? Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Sadim.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Dr. Munir, please let me know if you can hear us. Maybe you lost the connection.
Sadim?
Yes. Nihat, can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
I do. I hope you can hear me too.
Your voice is getting disconnected.
It's okay. Let me check again. I hope
now it's okay.
Now it's okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. I have a question. 100% money and effort needs to go inside Qatar means no travel to Turkey for Qatar team. No, we said there is a budget 10%, up to 10% of the direct budget can be go for travel. Can ministries be industrial partner? Yes, for sure. Ministries are considered research end users. What is the project ultimate duration? We said the maximum is for 3 years. Let me see if we have questions for each of them. Nihad, we have a question here saying, I mean, if there are 2 Turkish universities, will each of them get 20% of the requested budget?
During application, you know, if they define universities as separate partners, they will get separate budgets, and within this 40% limit, they can share 20% and 20%. That's correct, but they can adjust budgets as long as, you know, they respect 40% rule.
Okay, another question is it 100 like the academic partner or less? So I'm not sure if the question, if you got the question.
Maybe if we are talking about the same issue, if we have 2 academia partners at the same project, both of them, the sum of the budget that they are requesting cannot exceed 40%. For example, if we return back to the example that I have gave, if the budget of the proposed proposal is 1,000 Turkish lira, both the academian partners together cannot exceed or cannot request more than 400 Turkish liras, which means if one of them asks for 100 and the other asks for 300, they can receive 100% of this requested budget. They can receive the whole budget that they are requesting.
Okay. Another question, is it compulsory to have lead PI among developers to participate in the project? Yes. So as we said, we need lead PIs from both, from Turkey and from Qatar. What is the effect of the current situation, travel restriction on the deadlines? Any change? So far we don't have changes in the deadline. It's in May, so we don't have any approved or any requested changing so far. So we'll keep you updated if anything changed in that regards. Let me go. We have so many questions. We try. Some of them have been already asked. Let's see. We have so many questions we have already addressed. Could you please give details about the eligibility of a commercial company? I guess this is for TUBITAK. Nihad, do you have any question, any kind of eligibility for commercial companies from your side?
Let me explain. First of all, it's a financial matter, but I would like to share my information. The company must be, you know, stock company. It has to be either, you know, limited liability or stock company, and the company has to be located in Turkey as well. But during application process, they need to submit some documents about their companies, and a separate department and a separate our colleagues at this department, they check their documents and decide whether the company is eligible.
Okay, we have so many questions about the LinkedIn group. So if you have received the communications from QNRF, you will find a link to the LinkedIn group that you can click on, or you can search for Smart Cities between two brackets joint call. If you still cannot find it, please send a ticket through the support system. I will share the link with you, or you can send also to TUBITAK through the email, and we'll share the link with you to join the group.
Sadim?
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, regarding the LinkedIn group, I can forward one email to all participants here regarding the link, and they can immediately be joined.
Great, that's great. Thank you, Nihad. Can you please explain more about the co-funding? As I said, so I guess this is from, the question is from Turkey. Nihad, do you have any specific rules, or does co-funding apply from TUBITAK side?
No, we don't co-funding rule. You know, actually we apply funding ratios, funding rates for the companies depending on their sizes. If company is classified as SME, then it will receive 75% of total budget. The funding rate is 75%. We assume that the rest of the 25% is covered by the company, but we do not require the company to submit any commitment letters or support letters. They don't have to submit anything to prove, you know, that, you know, they can cover the rest of the budget. And the funding rate is lower for large enterprises. If the company classifies as a large enterprise, then it will receive 60% of funding rate.
Thank you, Taib. Dr. Munir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I do.
We have a question saying, can you give us a bit more details on the scope of smart healthcare?
Okay. So smart healthcare means what? So it's using ICT technologies for monitoring of patients remotely, and also for the diagnosis purposes. It's in a smart city. It's an interconnected city. So people don't need to go every time to the hospital or see a doctor. They can be monitored remotely using body sensor networks and things like a body sensor network, or can be or using some special sensors that are at home, or even using mobile phones. So it's a way of having an integrated and collaborative system for provisioning of health services, and also to access healthcare outside the clinics and hospitals. So from different two perspectives, from the clinic's perspective and from the patient perspective, it's connecting them together in a smart way, where you can access the data securely and remotely to provide remote diagnostics.
Thank you, Dr. Munir. A relevant question saying, does innovative health technologies falls within this call? Innovative health technologies.
Quite large. It's not clear what's meant by that. But anything that is smart, using sensor networks, doing some analytics to predict some of the diseases in a smart cities, using data gathered from the sensors, falls in this. So I hope this also answers the questions. Just to be try to be focused.
Okay, Dr. Munir, we lost the voice. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah. So they have to try to be focused when they submit and prepare the proposal.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We have so many questions. I think we'll have just 10 more minutes to answer or less. I would like to ask whether subcontractors are eligible, particularly international organization. Is there a maximum subcontracting cost? I'm not sure I got the question, but as I said, it has to be either the institution either from Qatar or from Turkey. Can you please just elaborate, because I don't know if I got you clearly. Other than this, we said consultants or services, but these are not considered as collaborative institutions. 2 institutions from Turkey would like to propose 3 different proposals with me. Is there any limit of number of proposals? Thank you. As we said, there is no limitation, but Tayyip, can you confirm this? We said there is no limitation on the number of roles. I don't know if you have.
Yeah, there is no limit on the number of applications, so they can go ahead and submit all of them. Yeah.
As we said, at the end, there is also a programmatic review stage that we look at the project teams of each proposal and their capability to run that many projects. So this is also part of the assessment. But as eligibility, there is no rule that stops them. But everything is going to be part of the programmatic review at the end. What is that? Will the Turkish private company get funding based on expenditure or from the start into the project account?
I didn't get the question. Can you repeat?
It says, will the Turkish private company get funding based on expenditure or from the start into the project on its project account? So I'm not sure if it's clear.
First, if we decide we, support a proposal, we sign a contract with the project partners. After signing the contract, we can release some of the funding to the private companies, but it requires a procedure to follow. They have to come up with a letter from a bank. So there are some details. I'm not so, I don't have so many knowledge about it, but they can get some of the funding right with the, start of the project after signing the contract.
I have a question also. If a researcher in Turkey has 2 affiliations, Turkey and US, can he become a lead PI? Yeah.
A researcher, in order to, participate as a researcher, the person must be employed a university, by a private company, by a public organization. Yeah, it has, the person has to be, maintain an affiliation with an institution. Yeah.
In Turkey, so he has to basically be using his Turkish affiliation.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I'll try to take as many questions because we have so many. I would apologize for those that I don't get a chance to answer. Dr. Munir, we have a questions. I'm curious to ask that what is the sample cities from Qatar that Turkey has? Some cities we have seen such Ankara, Kahramanmaraş, etc. I believe Dr. Munir explained this in the beginning, but maybe you want to retouch on it again, Dr. Munir?
Yeah, I mentioned in my presentation, we have example cities here in Qatar. We have Lusail city, which deployed intelligent smart applications in this small city, and we have also Musharraf city. Hopefully, we can provide you with some contact details on our website. I mean, if that's possible, so that you can get in touch with them. And we have also a large initiative here in Qatar called TASMO by Ministry of Transport and Communication to make Qatar digital and have access to digital services.
Okay, Doctor, a question is asking, is smart ports covered under this call?
Yes.
Smart ports. Is it?
Yeah, it is part. Port is part of Smart City. It is part of that.
Okay. I'll take the last. Please confirm smart. Okay, we have addressed many of these questions. Let me just. One. Just hold. Can we check with TUBITAK QNRF initially if the idea we have falls within the defined research themes before? If you have any further inquiries regarding the research areas, just to save the time, you can send a ticket and we'll be answering it about the research areas. Yes, Nihad.
We actually receiving questions like this, if this idea is inside covered by those sub areas. In this sense, we cannot give any directions. You know, it's hard for us. The projects will be prepared by researchers and industrial partners, and at the same time, other researchers will evaluate those projects. We cannot take the initiative to say yes or no. This is the system in TUBITAK in general. So it's up to researchers and industrial partners. If you convince that your project is under Smart Cities and it will convince the evaluators, then go ahead. Otherwise, we cannot say yes or no.
I mean, we usually get just the generic idea if it fits within the scope, like what we're answering now. If it fits generally within the scope of the call, we don't go into the details with the researcher while developing their idea or how in detail. I believe maybe Dr. Munir can add to this also.
Can you please repeat the question?
So if they have a question like now asking, for example, is the smart ports or smart innovative health, just the topic in general fits under the scope of the call, the smart cities, they can send us a ticket to ask.
Yeah, indeed, no problem.
And the general idea, not the project details, because this is the responsibility of the researcher to make sure that his project is aligned. So we'll give you just a general idea if the topic fits, but again, the project is going to be screened and studied in detail to see if it's aligned or not. So we could just give you a general response, but yet it's going to go to the screening for the alignment again. This last two questions. What is the deadline for the submission? We said it's 12 May for 5:30 for TUBITAK, and the Qatar-based lead PIs is on 13th of May, 12 noon. Please make sure that the proposal is submitted to both QNRF and TUBITAK. If it's submitted to only one side, it's not accepted. It's not considered complete submission. And for QNRF, you need to have it submitted to QNRF and vetted also by the research office. So the 13th is the deadline.
Advisors, researchers.
I guess with that, we have so many questions. I really apologize for those that we could not answer their questions. I'm trying to get answer as much as we can.
Sadim?
Yes.
While you are going through the questions, can I add something? For all Turkish researchers and industrial partners, please be advised that it is highly recommended, first, to join the LinkedIn group to find partners. Second, as we will be closing the submission on the 12th of May, we will be having one more week for e-signature. So all those PIs, researchers, and advisors in the Turkish team need to be having e-signatures. So don't leave e-signature issues for the last day. You know, we had from the learned lessons from our previous calls, we had, you know, the team was okay, and then they recognized at the last day that, for example, one advisor that who do not have e-signature. So please be sure that all members that they should be e-sign the application have already done with this e-signature issues.
Okay, this is a very important note for all our researchers to avoid these issues, and also for here in Qatar, please avoid submitting and vetting at the last minute to avoid, you know, technical glitches. I'll take the last two questions. I'm confused. The duration of the project for the partners from Turkey, it is for 3 years, and from Qatar 2 years. No, it's 3 years. The proposal has to have the same duration. It's the maximum. It's 3 years. It can be 2 years. It can be less than 3 years, but it has to be the same duration. So it's one proposal. The Qatari and Turkey teams are working on this on one proposal, so it has only one duration. Signature. So there's a question here from Dr. Kiar. Signature and section lead PI as head of academy industry. Please confirm that the signature of the dean is fine. Yes, it's fine. How many projects will be support this year? We answered this question. I'll take the last two questions. What is, if there are 2 industry partners plus 1 university from Turkey, you still need you need the same from Qatar. So you need a university and research and user from Qatar. Dr. Munir, I'll give you this last question. Would it be possible to give more info about smart energy and its scope, please?
Smart energy. Okay, just 1 second. I'm just opening the slide. Yeah. So smart energy is how to make energy use efficient within a smart city. So focusing on energy efficiency, energy saving, cost reduction, strategic planning, and flexible distribution systems using sensors and things like that. Getting the information to make energy usage more intelligent, more smart, and more sustainable. So it's really related to energy efficiency and cost reduction, saving, strategic planning, and things like that. Oh, I'm clear.
Thank you, Dr. Munir. So the last question now is, can a Qatari research and user such as municipality officer request personal expenses for its involvement as a research and user part of city council? I'm not sure. So if a research end user is participating and as a collaborative or submitting institution, and there is a team member as a research assistant, associate, any of the categories, they can request for a personal cost. The personal cost is not eligible only for private institution. I hope this answered your questions. I guess I'm very sorry to our researchers who we didn't get the time to answer their questions. Please feel free to send the email, to send us tickets, or send emails to our colleagues in TUBITAK if you have any questions. I really apologize. We tried to answer as much as we can, but there are much more. Thank you so much for joining us. And as my colleague Nihat says, we highly encourage you to join the LinkedIn group. and if you're interested to look for a partner. So I hope you find it hopeful. We also want you to stay safe in these health conditions, and we wish you all the best in our call. Dr. Munir, would you like to say anything?
No, thank you very much. And as was mentioned, if you have any question, you can always send a ticket, and we'll try to address your questions as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Take care.
Nihad and Tayyip, would you like to add anything?
No, I have nothing to add. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sadim. Thank you all. I hope you all the safety from Corona. Stay home.
Stay home.
And yeah, we will be happy to answer your emails, and we'll be happy also to receive your proposals. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Good luck. Good luck for everybody. Thank you, Dr. Munir. Thank you, Nihad and Tayyip. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bitti değil mi?